Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. So, if you've watched my videos, you know that I'm not doing any editing right now because I'm doing all this on my phone. And I have to say that I feel really silly right now because some of the people that I watch, some of the content creators I watch, hold on, Stella, I like how they have like kind of a side view of their face, you know, while they're watching the videos, and then they turn and talk to the camera. And so I thought, well, I'll do that too. I like that. But I can't do that because everything's on my phone and my phone is right here. So I can't turn and watch because the camera, the microphone, everything is right here. So just something fun to look forward to when my desktop is up to par. Right, so this video, this reaction video is a little more on the serious note. It's about a subject that I'm very fascinated with, and that subject is death. And something that everybody on earth has in common, a very, you know, the one thing that unites us all is that we're not getting out alive. Or, well, I guess it depends on how you look at it, because death cannot kill what never dies. And I don't think that there is nothing after this. I've had my own experiences, and it really makes me think a lot. I mean, I probably dwell on it more than the average person. A little history about myself. I used to work for a mortuary, and I'm trying not to say bear with me. That mortuary had a contract with the county coroner's office, so you name it, I have seen death in every form and fashion imaginable. Sometimes I would go on a call, and if we didn't have the name of the person, I've had 2 instances where I walked up and I knew the person. That was very sobering. And of course, sorry. Of course, you hear stories about things that happen as people die, sounds, experiences that people at funeral homes, funeral directors have had, and stuff like that. Ambulance personnel, people at the hospitals, hospice. Hospice have a lot of good stories. And I definitely, without a doubt, believe in existence after this one. So that's what today's reaction video is going to be. I came across this man's life after death experience. It's Shaman Oaks page or channel. And he did this story, so that's where I found it. It's I listened to like the first 60 seconds of it because I want to have genuine reactions with you guys. And the first 60 seconds, I love the way this man talks. He is just full of something. He is full of some kind of light that I just love. So that's where we're gonna go today. And for entertainment purposes only. I don't know if I have to say that or not, but entertainment purposes only. Don't believe everything that you hear on YouTube or the internet. Go and form your own opinion. Do your own research and see what you come up with. There's so many fascinating views and insight from different people. And one thing that I want to tell you guys before I forget, one thing that I'm going to do is a giveaway, and this will be fun. It may take like a month or so, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this up with all my extra change, and then I want you guys to guess how much money is in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send the person who gets it closest or right on the head, they're going to get the money before Christmas. It'll happen before Christmas. So you're probably thinking, oh, that's going to take forever. It won't. I always have change, and it'll add up really, really fast, literally. So that'll be fun and exciting, and I'm really excited to do that. It's my first giveaway. All right, here we go.
Every time I tell this story, I just start smiling because it all comes back.
So I heard you had a near-death experience. Let's hear about it.
Okay, it was 1994. I was working as a firefighter in Santa Barbara. I was at Station 11 on a paramedic engine. I was an engineer. I drove. And there was a powerful flu epidemic going on in the area. And lots of people were sick, and emergency rooms were full of people. And we went to a patient. She'd been cooped up in her room, and she was really ill, and it was obvious we had to move fast because everything about her was wrong. And I grabbed the O2 and scooted across the bed and got above her and got a mask on her. And as I was fixing it, tightening it up, she let out this big exhale because she was so happy that we had arrived. And I was taking a breath in, and I felt my lungs fill with her breath. And I said, well, if that's not an inoculation, I don't know what is. And a couple of days later, I was really sick. At this point, I was really ill, and I was at home. I was circling the drain. It was hard to get out of bed. I was throwing up, and it was going the other way. It was afternoon of the third day. I think I was looking in the mirror, and I said, man, I don't even look like myself. Everything was dark. My heart was racing. It was like 150. And I tried to take my pulse at my wrist because that's a good indicator of what your blood pressure is. And I couldn't get a pulse at my wrist, so I knew it was below 80. So I called my niece, I called my sister, and my niece picked up, and I tried to talk to her, and it was just a whisper. And she knew there was trouble. She hung up, dialed 911, and Santa Barbara County Fire came and picked me up. Guys did a wonderful job. They started high-flow IVs. It was obvious that I was severely dehydrated, and got me in an ambulance and got me to the hospital. And when we went in, the place was full. It was full of people, full of kids and adults, and everybody had this same really powerful flu. And I got put in a room, and they kept changing out the IVs. I had a couple of bags by then. I think another one was hung. By the next day, when I left, they said they'd given me 11 liters of fluids. They're trying to float the system because something happened, and I don't blame anybody, or I don't have any ill feelings towards anybody about it, because it led to this event, which was something that was meant to be. And anyway, the nurse came in and she said everyone's getting these two drugs, something for pain, which was a morphine type thing, and something for nausea. She pushed him into the IV port, and I kind of was sitting up. I was getting dressed. My wife was there, and I was like, I think I can go home. And she goes, nope, the doctor hasn't even seen you yet, and these are orders for everybody. Anyway, she pushed it, and I keeled over.
One look and you had me pegged, huh? Just another cat lady, about to eat some cat food. But you'd be wrong.
Anyway, she pushed it, and I keeled over.
Let me apologize for the advertisement. So something is, I'm not the most computer literate person. I said that in the last video. I mean, I'm technologically challenged, I am. But my payment won't go through where I can have the YouTube Premium to get rid of the advertisements. I don't know why. I mean, it's a credit card there's nothing wrong with it. It should go through. It won't go through. There's something it's saying I need to have something I need some kind of hold on my account. I've tried to contact YouTube Music. I'm so tired of the advertisements. I don't know why my payment won't go through. And I've used different cards. I don't know. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I apologize for the advertisements. Just bear with me. Thank you.
And my wife said that it really scared them. They came in and they Narcaned you, and Narcan is something that gobbles up the opiates, and they Narcaned you. She had it written down 3 times. And you weren't coming back. So they put me in intensive care for the night and had all this equipment and tubes and stuff on me. And I don't know any of this. My wife hung in there. And at some point during that night, I left my body. And I found myself flying through this star-filled realm. every time I tell this story, I just start smiling because it all comes back. But yeah, I was flying through this star-filled realm, and there were all these magnificent stars, orbs, all around me, and they were so welcoming, and it was like I was being paraded through, and all I felt was everything a human ever wants to feel. Just acceptance and love and joy and being held. And all those things, all those negative things that we have about ourselves, they were gone. They were absolutely gone. Things like, anger and resentment or spite or jealousy. In my opinion, those emotions do not travel with us. They stay here. They're tools for us to learn from. So anyway, I was flying through this star-filled realm, feeling absolutely ecstatic, like a cosmic orgasm. And it wasn't just an explosion. That was a full-time vibe. That is what we come from. We get glimpses of it here when we score the winning touchdown, or we get that job we wanted, or get the girl, and all these victories, if you roll them all into one, times it by 1,000,000, that is your vibration. So yeah, we come down here to push against this really dense, harsh vibrations. And it's really a wonderful gift. It really is. I'm cruising along, and there was cosmic orgasm, just continuous, and I felt like I'd been released from a hot, dark closet. And I was this huge, expanded cloud, a huge, expanded balloon. It seemed like I went out forever. And the thing that I kept saying while I was flying along and I was enjoying everything, and I kept saying, how in the world did I believe I was this dude? It was such a crazy trick that I was this person, and I had all these good points and bad points, and buttons. We all have them, emotional buttons that are going to send me into whatever depression, and they were gone. All that was gone. All that was gone, and that remained with the person that was Bill Letson. And I had full knowledge of Bill Letson's entire life and knew all the details, and I didn't want anything to do with it. And I like him. He's a good guy, but I didn't want anything to do with it. The thought of going back was out of the question. I was well aware that my body was behind, and it was like a banana peel. What are you going to do with a banana peel? Throw it away. And that's what it felt like. So I was flying along, and then all of a sudden I landed. I landed in a place that was solid. It had indirect lighting, and there were gurneys around, and there was equipment that was hanging from the ceiling. It was like a facility or a clinic or something. And right in front of me there were beings. There were these 3 short little hooded guys, and they looked exactly like those beings in the movie Communion. The guys I saw, they were in front of me. They had big smiles on their face, and they had these dark hoods and squatty little bodies. And one woman wrote to me, and she said, I was taken by these many times as a kid. And she goes, I called them the Warthog Men. The Warthog Men have come and taken me. And she said, when I saw that movie Communion, I dropped my popcorn. And says that they looked exactly like that. And I've gotten a number of emails from people saying, thank you for doing this, because I thought it was just mine. So anyway, yeah, they look kind of, I don't know, creepy is the right word, but they look different. But for me, they were sweethearts. And they were saying things like, how was it? What did you learn? What can you tell us? And I was extremely confused. All of a sudden, I was in this place with these beings from a cartoon, basically. And one of them stepped forward, and he took a long look at me, and then he turned to the other 2, and he said, he doesn't remember us. And they all started giggling. And I was like, well, guys, I'm having a little trouble. All of a sudden, things are very strange from my perspective, and I kind of remember you, but give me a little time. And they were giggling and bouncing around, and they were wonderful. And then there was this other guy, and he was sort of in charge. He was kind of in the background. He came forward, and he was this tall, wispy guy, and he had this incredible ecstatic smile. His eyes were open, his eyebrows were up, and he had this wonderful smile and laugh. And he was obviously in charge, but he was the best boss anybody could ever have. He wasn't, very strict at all. When he came forward towards me, my throat just tightened and my chest expanded. And I thought I was going to break down in uncontrollable crying from love. There was so much love pouring from this being that it was overwhelming. It was paralyzing. And I just loved it. I loved those guys. He was cool. There was some back and forth stuff. And every time I said something, he had this chuckle. I could feel it inside of me. He had this laugh. I got the impression that, looking at it from a third person, that was a relationship between a father and a child. And he loved me unconditionally. And at one point I said, I'm not going back there. No way, no how, ever. So I guess I got to move on from this place eventually. And what's next? A review of my life? Would you guys like to get started with that? And he just loved that. He just cracked up like I was a little toddler trying to take over. And he said, Sure, let's do that. How do you want to start? So I started talking, and I was telling stories about jobs that I wish I'd taken. My wife and I got this offer for this job on an island off the coast, and we were going to live on this island by ourselves and take care of the wildlife. And it was really super remote. It was like an hour helicopter ride off the coast, and she wanted that. That was right up her alley, and I took a fire job. I still wanted excitement, but I wish I'd done that for her, because she's never asked for anything, but she did want that. Well, yeah, I talked a little bit about that and a few other things, and nobody was listening. They didn't care. It was obvious that I was brought in there for a quick show and tell, and I wasn't staying. It wasn't the end of my life, and I was the only one in the room that didn't know that. And at one point he said, okay, that's enough. He stepped forward like a father and said, time to go back. And that just floored me. And I was like, what? Go back? I'm not going back there. There's no way. He says, yeah, you got to go back. You got things to do, and they're important. And the three little guys, it was like they were reassigned. They just disappeared. They went somewhere else in that facility, and it was just he and I. And he came forward, and he's like, okay, you're going back. And as he stepped forward, I felt myself slipping back. The place just started to break up. It started to dematerialize. It's like I was being beamed out of there, and I was going to another channel. I was going to another frequency, and it was a descending feeling, and I dropped away into darkness.
Then what about the moment when you actually realized that?
And it was a descending feeling, and I dropped away into darkness. It wasn't a good place. It wasn't someplace you wanted to be. It was lonely, and it was dismal, and you didn't want to stay there. Then I was back in my body, and I woke up, and a nurse came by, and she says, you're awake. And I'm like, yeah, I need to talk to you. And she said, I just got to go tell the doctor. We've been worried about you. We didn't know what was going to happen with you. We didn't know what was going on. And I said, okay, that's cool. You can go talk to the doctor. But first, what am I doing back here? I was pissed. I said I was home. I'd made it out of here. I was home with my best bros. How is it that I ended up back here? I had bought the farm. I was convinced of it. She said, honey, you've been in escrow, but you fell out of escrow, and now you're back with us, and you're going to have to get your head around that. And I thought that was, looking back, that was really good advice, because after that experience, anybody who has an experience like that, the yogis and the spiritual teachers, they'll tell you, get back in your life and chop wood and carry water and do the things that support your life and keep it going, because you're on a journey. You're a soldier for the higher self, this higher version of you that came for experiences that are mapped out. Get back on the job and make them proud on the other side that you gave your best and you made the highest vibration choices in this life.
And what was the dark place that you spent a little time in, and what was its point? What's the purpose of it?
It's up to us to create our vibration. When we live our life and our vibration is low because we've been selfish and self-centered and mean-spirited, and we all know these people. We've all met them. And when we leave our bodies, when we die and leave our bodies, our vibration is going to match that low vibration of those lower places, and that's where we'll be stuck. It's not forever. It's just till we sort out where we went wrong in this life, and because we are these infinite, amazing beings. If you listen to those people who, they give a video about going to hell, almost every time, it's like they sort it out. One woman was in a coma for weeks, and at one point she sorted it out, and she started singing a spiritual song that she sang in church, and she popped right out of hell. and she said that most of the time she had no idea she was dead. This thing about leaving this world in an astonished state, you're going to bump around in these low vibrational places until you can sort out that astonishment. And for some, it could be a long time. Edgar Cayce, when he used to leave his body to give a reading, he would sit quietly until the vibration started right in his eyes, and he would start that REM sleep, that blinking thing that you talked about, and I feel it all the time. Then he would find himself a little speck of light outside of his body, and he knew that he had to follow the light in order to stay safe, and that the first level of
a speck of light outside of his body. Speaking about Edgar Cayce's experiences, that's similar to an experience I had that I will share with you guys at the end of this video. I'm so glad to hear somebody else say that.
The realms that he visited or he moved through, he would move over to this staircase, and it was this like Jacob's ladder, and he would start up this staircase, and he would pass these little hooded gnomes and elves and things, and they had very dark robes at the lower levels, and then they'd be light colored at the higher levels, and there'd be like 8 levels, I think, and he'd go into the Akashic records and get a reading and return. But he said that that first level was a place of nightmares. The things that were alive in that area were nightmarish. People were there, but they were greatly deformed. They'd have huge hands or giant feet, or just these body parts that were really bizarre looking. And he said as he would follow the light to this stairwell, and then he would ascend, and he'd pull out of those places. And I think this guy Michael Tamara, he talks about this thing as we go through these lives and we sort out what we really are, who we really are, and we die well. We die realizing that we live forever and we can't be harmed. And I just got to stay the course and follow the light. We're living in an illusion. This is a really good play, and we all got parts in it. But when we go home, you don't want to come back here. This thing we call death, we've got it completely backwards. It is a beautiful thing. It is a 10 million% upgrade instantly. We have not lost anybody. They've slipped out of the physical, and they've gone home. And they're just a little further up the trail than we are right now. But we'll see them again. And everything is fine. Everything is beyond fine for them.
Hey, thank you for watching. If you want to know what video to watch next, I would suggest this one. This seems like a really good video for you to watch right now. Yeah, that seems like a good one.
Thank you to Shaman Oaks. So, like I said, I have an experience, 2 actually, to share. One stems from my childhood, and this is like a memory or a memory of a dream. I'm not sure, but I can see it clear in my head. It's always been there. And in this memory, I am in the grass. Like the blades of grass are bigger than I am. And I can smell like the dew, and I can smell the sun. I can hear the sun. I can hear like everything, and I can move so fast. It's like I just zoom, 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 zoom around. But I'm in the grass, and I feel comforted by that, and I feel comforted by this light, this warm, glowing light that's emanating everywhere. It's everywhere. It's not up in the sky. It's everywhere. And that's all it is. So what is that? I mean, I've always had it. I can remember being in middle school and talking about it because the memory is so clear. The next experience I had as an adult, and I'll just tell you about what I experienced. So I'm not conscious, and I can see myself at there. It's like an emerald green corridor or hallway, and I'm at the end of it, sitting cross-legged on the ground, and there's just different colors of green all around. And at first I was like almost panicked, but then it's like the person I saw, which was me, comforted me watching me, if that makes sense. So I comforted myself and told the me that was watching that it was okay to come in there. So I started to move down the hallway, and off in the distance I could hear someone yelling, just yelling, and I thought they were saying my name. And then it was like I just get jerked off to the side, and reality was someone was yelling my name, and they were yelling at me to wake up and open my eyes. And that's all that I have. So both of those experiences have stuck with me, and I don't know, what they mean. I do believe, like I said earlier, that death cannot kill what never dies. We are energy. These bodies aren't meant to last. Every year, I can attest to that. There's a couple things that there's a poem or prose. I think her last name is Fry, but the beginning of it is, do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there. I do not sleep. And I think that is just beautiful, because we're human, and most humans, when we lose a loved one, if most people do not have, it's not normal to have near-death experiences, I don't think, and so we don't know what happens. And when our loved ones are gone, they don't come back usually and tell us, oh, hey, everything's a-okay, it's going to be great. I'm so thankful for people like Bill, who shared his near-death experience, because it gives me hope. And it's comforting to think that the people that I have lost are in a better place, and they wouldn't want to come back, and they're happy and experiencing something beautiful that I hope to experience one day. There's something that people that have had near-death experiences say is that where they go seems more real than this. Their experience seems more real, more vivid, more, the colors are colors we don't have here, the sounds are, the way they communicate with whoever they encounter. It's just, it sounds surreal, but to them it's very, very real. And I think that says a lot about this reality, because I think that we all are, the main character in our own play, and everybody else is an extra. And and we're extras in their play, and we do have life lessons to learn. Boy, I can tell you, I've had a lot to learn, and still learning. And I wish I could stop saying but there's also a poem by Edgar Allan Poe And I take a lot of notes. I take a lot of notes and write a lot. And so I wrote down the name of it somewhere in my notes. It's called A Dream Within a Dream. And I don't know if you guys like remember your dreams or write them down or anything like that, but I take a lot of stock in my dreams. And the main thing I think he was trying to convey when he wrote A Dream Within a Dream is that that life is an illusion of reality. I find that really, like, think about that. Life is an illusion of reality. It is about a nested dream, which is also called an inception dream. It's where the dreamer thinks that they're awake, but then they realize that they are still dreaming. And there's just, I mean, there's so much, like, when you stop and think about this life and then think about your dreaming life, and it's just amazing to me. I mean, it's so amazing. I mean, everything is just, it's mind-blowing. It's hard for me to wrap my little tiny brain around. And I mean, I could go on and on with experiences. Like when my grandparents died, I had experiences with them. I have no doubt that they were letting me know that they were moving on. And my grandfather came to me 3 times after he died in the world of dreams to talk to me about an issue that we had within our family. And I mean, there's no way I could have known about that. I mean, nobody told me. It was something he told me, and when I talked to my mom and my aunt about it, they were like, oh wow, you know. So there's so much more than just this existence, and it's a beautiful thing. If you made it this far, please like and leave me some comments. Let me know if you know somebody that's had a life after death experience, if you've had one, and please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks for sticking with me. I really appreciate you, and I will check you out, and I hope you check me out in the next video. All right, take care.